to be in this room. My dad will be smiling right now, looking at me right now. He went up there in 2000, and I promised him that I would do my very best the rest of my life when I'm there in college. So everything I do now is dedicated to my dad. I am the baby of 12 kids, same mom, same dad. So I'm very spoiled, okay? I love attention. Okay, so I'm just gonna be honest, I'm thirsty for attention. Give me a high five, do something, okay? That's how I was in my family, you know. Thanksgiving, it was 2 turkeys, you know, everybody comes over, nobody goes, leave here starving, you're gonna eat, okay? Growing up, my mother, my mother stopped school in the 12th grade, and my father stopped in the 6th grade. Back then, school wasn't as important. You had to take care of the house. So my dad was, he stopped school 6th grade working on the farm. And my mother finished high school, but neither one of them went to college. But my mother was very, very adamant about us going. She said, I didn't go to college, but you are. So going back to that question, who influenced you growing up? My parents. I didn't have to look outside of my house for role models. They were right in front of me. They were standing tall looking at me, culturing me, cultivating me, giving me what I needed. And then after a while, I said, look, Mr. James, little boy, you're gonna have to go do your thing now. We have your back. Go and do some great things. Well, my father, when he passed 2000, he was sick with Parkinson's disease. And I had to take care of him. It was very, very challenging having to take care of your father. A person that once changed their diapers, now I have to do that for him. As his 13-year-old, I'm impatient. You know, my mother, hey, go help your father. And my father couldn't put his own clothes on, he was getting sick. So I had to be his personal aide. So I was learning a lot of interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, all that stuff. I was learning that at home. So I had to take care of my parents. Growing up, 8 sisters, 3 brothers, you know, fighting over the TV, we loved each other. We couldn't fuss and fight with each other. My mama did all that spanking stuff, okay? We couldn't argue. If anybody argued, it was her, okay? So moving forward, my parents, well, my sister worked at an HBCU, Elizabeth City State University, like 2 of them. So it was already in my family. My brother graduated there. He works at NASA now. I have a sister, Terry James. She was all CIAA, softball, basketball, volleyball. Who else? My sister Shirley was Miss ECSU 1984, and she's a bad sister. She's a diva. She's bad. Okay, B-A-D-D, Usher bad. You know. So I had all of that. I had all of that in my family. I went to summer camp at Elizabeth City State. There was only 2,000 people. 2,000 enrollment at Elizabeth City State. It's a small town. You got Elizabeth City State and you have the Coast Guard. Okay, so, but it's a retirement town now. So I got my HBCU experience very early. Norfolk State used to come and they used to beat us down in basketball, football, everything. The Vikings, that's what we were called. Okay, so fast forward. I had to go apply to one college like you did. I applied to North Carolina A&T. But I only applied there because of engineering and computer science. Because I was money motivated, okay? You know, you talking about technology, engineers make more money, you know, computer scientists, show me the money, let's go. So I was a comp sci major as a freshman, but calculus had me like this. So I had to change my major. I did great in Fortran and COBOL and doing all the computer languages, but calculus, I couldn't get past calculus. So I had to change my major. I went to my advisor, thank God for advisors. I said, this is not working, Ms. Williams. I can't do this anymore. My freshman year, I changed my major. I took this personality test, and I scored high in counseling. I said, change my major. I got to get out of here. All right, so what made me score high in counseling? Because I like being around people. And if I have to give you some advice, find out what you're good at doing before you pick your major. Just don't go and major in anything. You can go undecided for a little bit, but do something that you kind of love just a little bit, not just money motivated, but have some gifts and talent to go with it. So I changed my major to child psychology, okay? I started working at the YMCA, driving the YMCA bus, you know, summer camp with all these kids. I was in this is where I need to be. Then I started working at I was working at Food Line at the time. I stayed off campus. I didn't have to pay that high tuition. So I got the Pell Grant as well. I didn't have to borrow any money because my parents qualified for a Pell Grant. And my tuition every semester was like $1,300. I didn't stay on campus. And you know, low income family trying to make it, they gave me the money. I don't own any college loans. Everything for me was Pell Grant. In my last year I had to pay out of pocket because it was like, after you become that 5th year, 6th year senior, sir, we have no more money for you. I was like, okay, let me go ahead and get these grades and get out of here, okay? So moving forward, when I got accepted, and I joined the band. Okay, I'm a trombonist, and I still play. I didn't do anything my freshman year. It was work, school, because you don't want to flunk out, okay? So my sophomore year, got into the band, and it changed my entire life. I was just a little quiet freshman, but when I got in my sophomore year, I got into the band, I automatically knew 250 people. I felt like I was doing something. You know, I would walk across campus from class to class. Hey, Eric, what's up, man? What's up, Dom? How you doing, man? I knew people, and it started feeling like home, okay? So the HBCU experience gave me that personal relationship with people. I knew my professors by name. Like I could go to them after class, as opposed to being in a big room with 300 people. I didn't know anybody. I wanted the relationship because I had the relationship in my own home. I didn't want to be labeled a number. No, my name is Eric James. I'm from Mississippi, North Carolina. My mama name is Brosville. I want to tell you who I was, so because I wanted to know you. So moving forward, I pledged into a band fraternity called Kappa Kappa Psi. I became real tight brotherhood. Okay, we call them LBs. Okay, so at that time, I started to find out what I was good at doing. You know, I had this personal relationship with a fraternity. I was in a band. You know, we had practice every day, and it became like, wow, some of the best years of my life. And I had some struggles. It's one struggle that was really devastating, but I can't share it here because it would probably take a whole hour to tell it. But I had my own struggles away from home because I was 4 hours away. I couldn't just call mom and fix it. I had to solve some of my own problems. Okay, so fast forward, I do well in school. I get on the dean's list, doing well. I'm working at the YMCA. I'm getting my, you know, as a psych major, you have to learn about the development of kids. You have to learn about Piaget. You have to know. You have to learn about Pavlov. Okay, yeah. Who studied Pavlov before? Gotcha. Okay, you understand that. So behavior, human behavior. I'm excited about human behavior. So I wanted to learn about kids. I had this patience for kids, learning how to help them out. So fast forward, I graduate, and I stayed in my hometown. I stayed in Greensboro about 2006. I came here and got married. 2007. There's my beautiful wife over here. Okay. So and moving forward. So with this HBCU experience, I got what I needed from HBCU experience. I got all this stuff from home, and I wanted to go and make a difference. And I'm gonna add in a little bit more to what my HBCU experience and from home, what it did to me. When I jumped into the school system, I met this superstar young lady named Miss Van Skink back there. We met at Lynn Middle School. And I was just bringing her all the things that I learned from home, my HBCU experience, loving and caring. I wanted to take that and just give it to everybody. Because I'm this person, if you come next to me, I'm gonna give you a handshake, I'm gonna hug you, I'm gonna do something, okay? And that's from years of growing up as a child, going through the HBCU experience, and then now, like you said, like Central says, come and learn and then serve. Go and serve in your capacity. So I'm gonna stop for questions because me, I'll take up all the time. I need you to ask me some questions. So, and fast forward real quick, I started my own company that's helping students, kids that did not get what I got growing up, and they were struggling. That's how when I was working in the middle schools and high schools, I felt like their father. I felt like I was their uncle. Some kids call me second dad. I'm like, why'd you call me that? Because you care about me. You know, and again, it was from all the childhood, all the HBCU experience, all that was here with me, and I was ready to give it away. So moving forward, working in the school system, I started to just give kids my love, whatever you needed. If you needed help with a test or you were hungry, those physiological needs, I was just trying to fill in those gaps. And so relationship was very important to me. So my HBCU experience was very big. You know, it gave me, I had the personal relationship so I can go and take what I learned and then apply it to the world. So I brought all my stuff. So I'm a little extra, okay? So I brought all my little stuff. I brought my diploma, I brought my KK side plot, my hat, everything. I brought my trombone in case you want a song. You know, and to me, I'm still a college student. I'm 47, but I'm 17. You know, so I realized this: kids do not want to be around boring adults. Okay, and I'm not bored. All right, so I'm here to answer some questions. I hope you can ask me some good stuff so I can give you some good stuff back. I'm trying to end so she don't give me the bus. So anyway, I'm going to open it up for any questions for me, and I hope you have at least a couple so I can give you something.
Working in the school system, did you use your history at HBCU to kind of market those HBCUs to students that might have a prospective future at one?
Yes, and that's a great question because Ms. Van Skeen, when you bond with people in the school system, especially your colleagues, you know, we have our own talk, okay? We're adults, but we talk about y'all. When y'all talk about us, we talk about you. Sometimes I'm like, can we stop talking about them? I don't like. So I would always tell her about my college experience. She'd tell me about her college experience. But meanwhile, we still take care of the kids. But we'll talk about what we did, you know, how we, you know, I walk into a school, like you said, it's not many instructional African-American males and females into a building. Like I worked at a FC, I worked at a Cox, I worked at a Renaissance, I worked at Great Neck, I worked at Lynn Haven. I didn't find many people that looked like me. So me, like you see how Mr. Grant is dressed right here? Mr. Grant, can you please hold your hand up? Okay, so Mr. Grant he's clean. Okay, so again, when I walk into a school like Great Neck, there are not many instructional blacks in there. Somebody thought I was from downtown. I was like, downtown? No, I'm not from downtown. I'm a student support specialist. But the way I looked, because a lot of kids that weren't Caucasian looked at me, they thought I was from somewhere else. No, I'm here to help you. My thing is, I had to make sure that I love every kid. Hispanic, biracial, Caucasian, black. My kids, when they see me, they know Mr. James cares about them regardless of their color. Because we can't, as adults, we give off signals to kids. And if you see me talk to other people but not anybody else, you recognize that. But myself, my kids they got the love for me like they were my kids. I had kids that loved me that didn't look like me. It made my job easy. Because it's counseling. If you don't like your counselor, you don't want to tell them anything, right? I don't want to talk to my counselors, you don't listen to me. I hear all those things. But sometimes counselors don't have time to listen about your breakup. You broke up with your girlfriend, no, get your grades right. But I'm crying, no, get your grades right. We were extensions of counseling, so we had to, regardless of what you look like, you had a problem. And we had to come and, we had to solve it. Because if you weren't solving that problem, my grades are going to drop. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. Yes. So anyway, every kid, I'm going to love them. Right? But some of my best experience at work, first Colonial, I got to grow. I got to expand. I got to do things. I got to be involved with kids' life. Because there are other things besides making A's and B's. There's life out there. And you need somebody to talk to you about life. So I have billions of stories, but I'm going to go to the next question. Somebody, please ask me another question. Yes, hey.
So you said that you have 12 brothers and sisters?
I have 8 sisters. I had to watch the stories from 12 to 4. That's the soap opera, so I couldn't change the channel. I have 3 brothers, but I'm the baby.
Okay.
Yes.
So would you say that like having that many older siblings, like you were raised differently?
Yes. But my parents spearheaded them. I do in-home counseling as well. I go to kids' homes and I see the barriers that are blocking kids from being success. And the number one barrier is parents. Okay, you have a kid, regardless of your education or your background, if you're 16 or 20, you are the parent. That means you have to support that kid. So my parents, my dad's 6'5", he was like a giant. Going to church, put your clothes on. Okay. Mom was like, can I tell you again? My mom was back then, it wasn't child abuse. Okay. This right here was, can I tell you again that house? Yes, ma'am. It was love. First I'll get you, then I'm gonna feed you. And then she said, stop crying when you just beat me. Mom, I can't stop crying. But it's love. It says, spare their what? Spoil the child. Okay, so we're supposed to know when something's not right. Because if you don't get it home, you find it in society. Okay, my mother was very big about how offspring, how 12 kids. She was very, very big about how we are in the community. What do other people say about your children? So mom was old school. She's 86 now. If you want to see a picture of her before we leave, I got it on my phone. Three weeks ago, I took her to her eye doctor appointment. And she was all G'd up and action. I said, Mom, we're just going to the eye appointment. Boy, you know I look good wherever I go. You don't know who you're going to meet. And my dad worked so hard, they couldn't save money. Every money had to go to the table. I never went hungry and 12 kids. But when the sisters got older, they became mothers, second mothers. And I'll say this real quick. When I was born, I was sick. I had meningitis, and there wasn't a cure. And I'm called the miracle baby as well. My parents prayed for me. I didn't have a cure for meningitis, and I'm still here. So I'm like extra right now because I cannot be here. So anyway, when you put the camera on, put people in front of me, I'm going to talk to you. But I'm going to devote all that to what my parents did. Because some people can't raise one kid right now. But 12, Mom, how did you do it? That's what she says. Dad, how you do it, boy? You know. The debate on it. So they were like, I could never repay them, but I will go and do what you taught me to do. So right now, he's looking down on us. You know, he left in 2000. So when I buried my father, my whole life changed. So I was just on a mission. So having all those people were just what I needed. Any more questions? Yes.
So do you think it was harder for you going to college and like being from a low-income family? Do you think that was like how did you handle that kind of?
What bridged my gap was my brother who has his master's. He went to ECU. He took another route. He went to the country, East Carolina. Anyway, it's about 16,000 over there. He's a band director. But he went and got his master's in music at UNCG. Y'all heard of UNCG? Mm-hmm. It was all girls' school back in the day, and they changed it up. So my brother was already staying in UNCG. He was already staying. And you're an Aggie too, so you already know. Okay, put your hands up, girl. Got a young Aggie in here. I'm still young too. My brother was already staying by UNCG. So I didn't have to stay on campus. I didn't need that housing. You know, we fight for housing. My brother got a crib already. I don't need that housing. Sometimes girls don't get accepted because they don't have any housing. They run out of housing. There's more girls in college than guys. Y'all know that, right? So my transition was I had a family member. What's your name? Sierra. My brother was already there. So when I finished high school, I already had a spot. I was good. The house was on Tate Street by UNCG. They thought I went there because my girlfriend went there. So, but I went to A&T. I went down the street. So my tuition was cheap, and my brother helped me. So I was still around family, you know. But some of my friends who I met, they didn't have that, so they struggled. So my struggle was I didn't have a struggle there. My brother was right there. He's like, man, what's up? I'm here now. Gotta get this degree. So it was okay. I didn't have, you know, my family checked on me. Like I was never like thirsty for that. I mean, I never longed for it because I never missed it. It was always there for me. So that kind of gave me the strength I needed. But I had more than what a lot of people had. So I felt really fortunate, you know. So when I see other people without that, I just feel bad. I just like, y'all know what empathy is? Look at define empathy. empathy. Come on, y'all. Yeah.
Putting yourself into somebody else's shoes.
Thank you, perfect. So I'll put myself in their shoes. I'm like, I have this and you don't have it. Like, how you gonna make it? So I didn't, I was always using empathy. That made me like, it calmed me down. My mama said, someone always has it worse than you. I thought, what are you talking about, Mom? I grew up and I understand now. So I'm very humble, and I wish I'd imagined. In counseling, you have to use empathy, and you have to use these right here. That's listening, okay? So I know how to do empathy very well. It calms me down. I know how to speak. Good. Anybody else? Especially if the buzzer. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Sam.
Sam. How you doing, Sam? I got a brother named Sam. He works at NASA.
So in your experience, do you think that the rise in like single parent homes plays a role in like children's performance in the classroom?
Yes, that's an excellent question, because most of my clients are the male role model is not there, and it's the mom doing everything. And what happens is this, Sam. It takes two, right? Doesn't it? So, but one falls off. So you got one person trying to do the role of two people. So what happens is this: when a parent has multiple kids and they're trying to, a parent should want their kid to do their best, right, Sam? But when you are on survival mode every day, you can't, it's hard to push your kid when you're just trying to feed them. When you don't have enough money for the end of the month, or I'm focused on keeping my lights on. I'm in Section 8 housing. They're about to cut something off, but I have 4 kids, and it's not, my parents not thinking about grades. Just go to school. Just get to school. That's all. Really, just get to school. When you get to school, you're supposed to do what, Sam?
Good.
Perform, right? Every teacher wants you to perform, right? So if you start performing, that's when there's red flags. As a student support specialist, we look at behavior, grades, and attendance. So when a kid's not coming to school, your grades are dropping, you start acting up. Oh, we need to talk, what's going on? Then I go make a home visit. Oh man, you living like this? And I'll give you an example. When I worked at FC, we used to ride a bus to New Shelton, and Don out on riding the bus, giving food, dropping off food. There were homeless people at First Colonial. You might not know it. Go to their house. So we was driving, right? I felt Superman, hey, we're gonna save the world. Then I went to a family who's staying in a hotel. I was like, somebody lived there? That was my first year staying. So I go into a hotel room, there's a family. I'm like, what? Why are you staying in here? And then we're asking the kid do well in algebra. We need you to come to school, clean clothes. You're living in a hotel. I'm not talking about oceanfront, Sam. I'm talking about the other side of the street. The hotels were, the smaller ones. So I saw that, Sam, and it's just like, but it's the mom. It's not the dad. That's why I told the kid, you have a dad and a mom, or a stepfather, because I'm a stepfather. Okay? You have somebody who can help you. You got a man and a woman. There's some things that a man can do that a woman can't. There's some things that a woman can do that a man can't. So you need both. So a lot of people don't have that. But there are some people who press through though, okay? But it takes two. So my empathy kicked in. It's like, we have homeless kids at First Colonial. What the world? We gotta do something about it. That's what made me just like love on kids. Some people didn't understand that. Mr. James, why are you telling the kids you love them? Go to his house. Do you have running water? They don't. Do you have a washing machine dryer? They don't. Be quiet. That's what I want to say. So I think different to a kid. That's when I ask you personal questions. Are you okay? Do you have what you need? Do you got food? So anyway, that just it gets me. I'm gonna try to record. You can talk to me later. I'll have my information afterwards, Sam, if you need to talk to me.
All right.
Any more questions?
No more questions.